Welcome to round two of Ernie and the VA. Last time we talked about a lot of different things from um, what we went through during Desert Storm, what we went through since then, about what the VA told the vets that they qualify for and don't qualify for, why only Desert Storm veterans have free health care for life. Um, what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan, how sorry our government was in the pullout of Afghanistan, how they gave us outdated mop suits and uh, gas mask while over during Desert Storm, and some of the things that we were exposed to over there, such as the different inoculations, no mask for the heavy metal, for the dirt that's coming in, the atrocious buffaloes with the water bottles that had every kind of known bacteria and nastiness that you could even imagine in. The missing medical records from the Army hospitals. And then what happened to me whenever it started heavily. All my symptoms had been going on since February of 2000, or excuse me, since 1991 after Desert Storm, but they really came to a head in February of 2019. I went to Louisiana on a trip with my daughter. Started having issues, stroke-like symptoms. Went to a hospital. They couldn't figure it out. They airlifted me to another hospital in Louisiana that had a big stroke center. Stayed there for a few days, and they said, we don't know what's going on. So one of the doctors there, the ER doctors, came up and said I was having complex migraines, and he had seen it before. And the symptoms that I was having could be from a bunch of different diseases, but he does know that hemiplegic migraines could cause the symptoms, some of the symptoms that I was having. We went through how the VA doctors rotate constantly and how they assign stuff just on a whim. So now we're to where we are now. Where we are now is assessing the VA doctors and the VA experience where we're at right now. Right now, I'm assigned to a VA neurologist, an outside neurologist who's assigned through what they call community care through the VA. And I also have my primary care, my psychiatrist, and my neuropsychologist through the VA. My neurologist is about 50 miles away. My hospital is about 60 miles away. My neuropsychologist and psychiatrist are both about 45 minutes away. Yes, I'm right in the middle of this juncture between here and there and everywhere else. Supposedly, they'll be opening up a new hospital here in Cobb County sometime next year, which will be great. So I found, as I started digging in to what was wrong with me, remember I lost my memory of about 3.5 years ago in December 30th. So I really have not dug into what's wrong with me or what the doctors say might be wrong with me, because everything is might be, could be. There's no definitive answer. So what the doctors that I'm looking at, my psychiatrist is treating me for drugs for anxiety, depression. My neuropsychologist is keeping me from becoming one of the 22 a day that kill themselves. And even he knows most of that is from the frustration with the VA. My neurologist, strictly treating hemiplegic migraines, the paralysis, the seizures that come along with it. Memory loss, nobody wants to take control of. The neuropsychologist says it can't be a brain issue because memory loss doesn't happen like that. Supposedly, memory loss happens in certain ways among certain people, and there's really no way for it to happen the way that it happens to me. So that's good to know. So maybe it won't happen again. Maybe it's a memory issue that I'm thinking I'm having memory loss and I'm not. Perhaps I'm buying all these diamond rings for my wife just because she hits me on the head, knocks me out at night, and says, "Hey, by the way, you bought me a diamond ring." Hey, truly, that is not happening. My wife is too sweet for that. She does make jokes about it after we get over the initial shock of what's happened. But she's really good. She's supportive. I couldn't ask for a more supportive wife, supportive family. They are phenomenal. They stand by me as bad as I am and as bad as things get, as dark as they get. They stand by me, and I love them so much. So I'll explain my moods daily. I look at things as far as weather goes. On a clear day, I'm having a great day. It's just clear. It's sunny. It's bright. There's nothing going wrong. Okay, so it's one of the better days that I go through. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of those. Then they turn to light cloudy grays. I know the storm's coming. It's light cloudy, but it could switch back to a pretty sunny day. Light cloudy days are starting to be a mental struggle. A lot of that is due to I'm locked in the house a lot. A lot of days I don't leave the house. Excuse me. This live thing is really tough because I yawn a lot whenever I talk. So forgive me. It's not that I'm boring, but I bore myself. So a lot of days I don't leave the house. Number one, my license was given up whenever I started having seizures. I gave it up personally because I couldn't stand the thought of hurting somebody on the road because of my stubbornness to get rid of a license. So then I discovered something that really pissed me off is the VA has vehicle adaptive grants or vehicle grants that they give. So if somebody like me who is in a wheelchair due to 100% combat related illnesses and injuries, they provide a wheelchair and they provide a mode of transportation. Well, their vehicle lift didn't fit in my van. So I called about the vehicle adaptive grant or the vehicle grant. And they said, okay, but you have to have a driver's license in order to get that. Okay. I've had to surrender my driver's license because I'm having seizures, but I have to have a driver's license in order to be able to get a van that can carry around my wheelchair. It doesn't make sense. That's just one of the circular conversations we go through with the VA. The VA is nothing but circular conversations. Right now, I'm supposed to be working on getting a multi-environmental wheelchair. My house is on a hill in the front, hill in the back. We're at the top of the hill. So it's woody out front. So it's all pine straw, stuff like that. They came in and put a ramp at the top of the hill going to the center of the yard, which means the top of the hill goes straight out to the rest of the top of the hill. From there, the yard goes down on all sides. Going down to the driveway, got to go down a hill. The hill's muddy, the hill's dirty, the hill's got pine straw on it, leaves. So we had to build a little paver walkway, so that on good days, if it's not rainy, if it's not wet, if it doesn't have if it doesn't have this wrong, if it doesn't have this wrong, once again, a very clear day, then I can take my wheelchair that they provided me and go down the hill to our van. Doesn't happen often. So I applied for a multi-environmental wheelchair. It goes through the physical therapy department at the VA hospital. The doctor there, Dr. Woodard, gave me a phone call after I applied for it and said, we don't give out wheelchairs for recreational purposes. I said, it's not for recreational purchases. It's to get up to my house and get into my house, because if it is rainy, if it's wet, if it's snowy, if it's leafy, if it's pine strawy, I can't get out of my house down to my drive, or vice versa, back up from the drive into my house. Okay. So she goes, okay, well, I'm gonna evaluate this and I'll put the results in. So I hadn't heard anything from a long time. So I asked my doctor once again to put in a request for the multi-environmental chair. She got a response very quickly that said that the chair had already been denied and they weren't going to look at it again. I kind of went a little crazy. I called the VA hospital and I spoke with her boss, the head of physical therapy of PM&R prosthetics, and her boss, Dr. Williams Lee, said that doctor said that I was not medically indicated for the chair. I said, okay, what's not medically indicated for a chair? Can you explain what not medically indicated is? She said, well, Dr. Woodard says you're not medically indicated for the chair. I said, okay, you're her boss. Can you tell me what not medically indicated for the chair is? Well, Dr. Woodard says you're not medically indicated for the chair. We went through this whole circle for about 30, 45 minutes. Dr. Woodard said this. And it's always Dr. Woodard said you're not medically indicated. So I read off, I said, can you look at this email that I sent? You're in my file. She said, yes. First, I said, can you pull up the guidelines of what is required for me to get a multi-environmental chair? No. No? No, I cannot. Okay. Why? Because I can't. Okay. So I said, can you pull up an email I sent to you, Dr. Von Guru, Dr. Woodard, chief of staff of the hospital, the director of the hospital, my neurologist, and my neuropsychologist on this date, this time? Yes. I said, attached to that, I can't read attachments. Okay. I copied everything from the attachment and put it in the email. So can you open up the email? Yes. In the email, it gives 3 criteria to get a multi-environmental chair. First one, is the Marine or is the veteran qualified for a power chair? The answer is yes. Well, how do I know that? Because you've already issued me a power chair. Pretty sure that's a dead giveaway. The second part of that, can the Marine access his or veteran access his property or his home? Or how is his quality of life affected by not having one? So there you go. I can't access my home or my property. And there is no quality of life because I can't get out of my house. So there, met 2 of them. The third one, does the VA offer a multi-environmental wheelchair? Yes, they do. So, Dr. Williams Lee, how do I not qualify for one? What makes me not medically indicated for one of those chairs? Well, Dr. Woodard says you're not medically indicated. For the love of God, please tell me, what do you teach your people? Do you not go by the guidelines set by the VA? Well, Dr. Woodard says you're not medically indicated, and that's all I can go by. Okay. So, hey. So that was my son walking in. Anyway, so do you not teach that you go by the guidelines of the VA? Yes, we do. Okay, so the guidelines of VA says that I am medically indicated for this chair. I should be able to get this chair. No, Dr. Woodard says you're not medically indicated. Me and her are about to go around for another 45 minutes because I am pissed at this time because she refuses to answer the questions. So during this conversation with Dr. Woodward, the initial conversation, she says, the only reason the VA offers medical equipment, prosthetic equipment, such as power chairs, lifts, canes, wheelchairs, scooters, is for the veteran to be able to go back and forth to their VA medical appointments. Crock of crap. I've read the guidelines. Doesn't say anything about that. It is supposed to improve our quality of life, get us back as close to our quality of life as we had before we had these issues. So I asked Dr. Williams Lee, I said, is that what you teach your doctors underneath you? Well, they're doctors, so I don't teach them a lot. I said, you're in charge of their department. Yes, but they're doctors. And I ran car dealerships. They were car dealerships, and I ran them, and I was an auto salesperson, and I still was as a director for the auto dealership. So I went out and sold cars too. But I had auto sales people who were just as experienced as me, just not in the same position as me. But I still had to teach them certain things. I had to teach them what the rules were for the dealership that I worked in, because each dealership's a little different. So they have different rules, different things you can say and do. So I had to teach them what to do. I said, do you not teach them the rules and regulations of the VA? Well, no, they're doctors. This went nowhere. So I said, oh, she goes, you have to file a formal appeal. I said, okay, how do I do that? Well, we'll send you the form. Okay. Can you just email it to me? No, it has to come through the mail. Okay. So I contact my patient advocate at the hospital. He says, oh, no, I can just send you the form over email. That's how it works. So the patient advocate sends me the form, and it's not a form that has all of these special numbers on the bottom, government form, yada, 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 in triplicate, nothing. Doesn't have any formal writing up there. It just says blank piece of paper typed in to Chief of Staff, VA Regional Medical Center, Atlanta. Patient is appealing decision by Dr. Who for what? What is the veteran's reasoning for appeal? Signature. Okay. That's what she had to send me by mail, that she couldn't email me. Same lady who couldn't look up online what or on her system what the guidelines were for the issuance of a multi-environmental chair. So we get past that point. I send in the appeal. Or I ask her, okay, so the appeal goes to the Chief of Staff. From the Chief of Staff, I know he's absolutely not going to look at it. Who's going to look at it? Well, his office is going to send it back down to me. Really? So what's going to happen there? Well, I've already viewed Dr. Woodard's denial based on you're not medically indicated. So I would have to say no. So why can't we just do this now? Why can't we go through the appeal process? Let me tell you why I qualified for it, which I already have. Let me tell you why. And you use your own independent thinking. You're a doctor. You're the head of the department. You can look at this and say, okay, maybe she didn't make a mistake, but maybe based on what I've just heard, the evidence that I've just heard, I can go ahead and approve this. No, it has to go through the Chief of Staff's office for an appeal. How long does that take? 30 to 45 days. Great. So I send in the appeal, verified that it went through that day. 30, 45 days passes. I go up to physical therapy. They said, or I go up to PM&R, which is where it starts, and they say, no, you got to go to prosthetics. Go to prosthetics. They say, no, you have to go see the Chief of Staff. I go up to see the Chief of Staff. Chief of Staff doesn't see anybody except for by appointment only. Can I set an appointment? No, he's not scheduling appointments right now. Go back down to physical therapy. So I go back down to physical therapy, and physical therapy says, we have no idea. Okay. I said, well, I'm issued the chair out of physical therapy. Oh, we have no idea. You got to get with Chief of Staff. So the lady that runs right there, the office manager for physical therapy, hears me. Her office is right there. She says, Mr. Lawrence, come in here. Well, my wife was with me, so we go in there. And she says, I can't do anything about it. I don't even see what's going on with it. But what I can do is email the Chief of Staff's office and have them contact you within 24 hours. That was about a month ago. Still no word from anybody. So today, I said, okay, let me call the Chief of Staff's office, see if he's open to appointments or whether anybody can tell me about my appeal. So I call. I dialed the direct number for the chief of staff's office. It rings for a few times, goes back to the main hospital operating system. I sit on hold for about 45 minutes. It hangs up. So I call back. I get the operator again. She puts me through to somebody who has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. That's after another 30, 45-minute hold. So I call back. I finally get an operator who has some sense to her, and she says, okay, let me check on this. So she puts me on hold. She checks on it, says, you need to call the DAV. DAV, Disabled American Veterans? Yes. Why would I call the DAV? Well, all appeals go through them. No, they don't. That DAV has nothing to do with appeals. They help fight appeals, but they don't have any decision-making abilities whatsoever. Okay, please hold. Okay, sir, what are you asking about? I said, I have an appeal through a department of the hospital that has to go to the chief of staff at the hospital in order for him to look at it to make a decision, yes or no. Okay, what's your name? Give her my name again. Last 4 years social, give her that. She comes back online and says, this is after about a 20-minute hold. Nobody's answering, sir, and it's 4:30 now, and if it's 4:30, they close at 5. They're not going to take any more phone calls. Try tomorrow. Okay. So I guess I'll try tomorrow. In the meantime, so since I've woken up, I have looked into my history of what's going on. I've researched hemiplegic migraines. I've researched Gulf War syndrome. So everything that I have falls under Gulf War syndrome. Everything that I have does not fall under Gulf War syndrome. Some of it all falls under there, but some of it falls under hemiplegic migraines. So I said, okay, maybe it's Gulf War syndrome. So I call my doctor, ask her about that. What is Gulf War syndrome? This is a VA doctor. What is Gulf War syndrome? Okay. Talk to my neuropsychologist. Well, what is Gulf War syndrome? Talk to my psychiatrist. What is it? My neurologist, I talked to him. He said, yes, absolutely, Gulf War syndrome. So I get when my doctor says, my neurologist says, it's Gulf War syndrome. I don't think it's Gulf War syndrome. But now you know what Gulf War syndrome is. Well, I looked at it since the last time you called me, but I don't think so. And the VA is still researching that. So, it's still out there. We don't know what's going on with that. Okay. So I do more digging. I pull up my MRIs from Alexandria. This is 2021, October, and I find something in there that's very interesting. In the MRI from the stroke center, it says white hyperintensity, small vessel, cerebral small vessel disease. Okay. So I research it, and cerebral small vessel disease is not a good thing. It has all the symptoms that I have, every one of them to a T. I asked my doctors about it. Nope, can't be it. I said, did y'all even see that whenever you got the MRIs from Alexandria? No, I didn't see that. They didn't even look. They did not look at my records. Okay. So how do they know what's wrong with me? I said, can you look at the big picture and see all of my symptoms, all 4 pages of my symptoms? Now I want you to look at cerebral small vessel disease. It matches all of my symptoms. Now, cerebral small vessel disease has no known etiology. It can come from 1,000 different places. They can't narrow it down to one thing. So I'm thinking, okay, it is a disease that's diagnosable, but has no etiology, no known etiology. That is the definition of the VA saying that is Gulf War syndrome. My doctor said no. Why? How does it harm you to know that somebody has Gulf War syndrome? Why can't you even look at it? Well, we only look at one thing at a time. Okay, but I'm putting it in front of you. I'm putting everything in front of you, from the high blood pressure, high cholesterol, to all of this, that 4 pages of crap that is wrong with my body. And every single one of them is listed under cerebral small vessel disease. This is what it causes, from the stroke-like symptoms to everything else. No, it can't be it. Okay. Nobody found that, guys. Nobody even looked at my MRIs. And still nobody recognizes it. So then I put in a request to have my bathroom door and my bedroom door widened and a stair lift so that I can get up. My son has autism, so sometimes I have to get up with him during the night whenever he's having crazy dreams and stuff like that. So I have to get up here with him. And sometimes I can't do that if I'm down. So it falls on my wife, who works all day, every day, to do that. So they approved the bathroom door to get widened. They didn't approve the bedroom door to get widened. So I can't get in the bedroom to go to the bathroom, but I can just walk into the bedroom, get up out of my wheelchair, walk into the bedroom, get back in my wheelchair and ride to the bathroom, even though the wheelchair won't fit through the door. That's VA thinking. That's where everything goes wrong. That's why 22 vets a day kill themselves. They can't get help. They can't get the help they need. We made it through the light cloudy day. Then we go to the little darker cloudy. You know the storm clouds are coming in. There's not really a way to avoid it. It's going to rain. So you try and brace yourself for that. You talk to people. You're like, I need some help. But I don't care if you've never been in that situation, asking for help at that point is almost futile. Because people look at you funny. They're like, you're okay. There's nothing wrong. It's, you're okay. So that little cloudy day that, the rain's coming in turns into a really dark day. The storms are there. It's you can't see crap from outside. Those days are harmful. You call the Veterans Crisis Line. They're like, well, you can talk to us. It's okay. We'll talk. You can talk to us. Now, if you mention anything bad, we're going to have to notify the hospital and the police. Okay. So therefore, I'm not talking to them. I call my neuropsychologist. I talk to him. Cheryl says, be honest with him. Be honest with him. Tell him what's going on. Call him. He says, okay, I'm going to send the police to your house. No, don't. I won't be here. I will Uber my ass away from here. You won't find me. So he makes a deal with Cheryl that I have to have somebody here with me 24 hours a day. That lasts for a couple of weeks. I have to call him twice a week. And then he says, okay, you're fine. Everything's good. It just disappeared. It's just those black, cloudy days. After 2 weeks of having somebody watch me 24 hours a day, it's all better now. And you know what? As far as they're concerned, it is all better. I'm not going to go to a hospital. I'm not going to lose my rights. If I go to the hospital, I lose my Second Amendment rights. They come in and take all the guns out of the house. I'm not doing that. My wife controls all my guns, okay? She controls everything about me. I have no control, zero. That does not help the situation at all, not having any control. I'm 53. I'm a grown man. I have no control. I can pet my dog all day long. That's what I can do. The VA is a joke, guys. It's just a joke. It's there for amusement. You can't talk to anybody. I tried today to talk to a chief of staff. No, can't even get through to his office. Can't get through to a secretary. Can't get through to anybody. It's a joke. And I understand. I understand why nobody wants to talk to him. I understand why people sit out in their parking lot and kill themselves. It's to make a statement. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm out to hurt myself or harm myself or anyone else right now. I'm just letting you know what it's like, how it feels to not be able to access the health care you need, not be able to get the drugs that you need because the VA is scared to issue you drugs that can control your mood whenever you're having those dark times, where it can help you relax and calm down and ease your anxiety, your panic, they won't issue you those drugs. They said, it's just on the VA policy. We don't do that. They're not willing to offer the help you need. But my time's up for right now. I will get back with you guys probably tomorrow, and we'll try and finish up with the VA hell that I live in. And if there's any other veterans out there that are listening or watching, if you have these experiences, get in touch with me. I have no problem with it. I'll give you my phone number is 770-480-5143. My email is M as in Mary, L as in Lima, A as in Apple, A as in Apple, A as in Apple, F as in Frank, F as in Frank at gmail.com. My life as an Armenian fish farmer at gmail.com. Love to hear from you. Love to hear your stories. As soon as I can get in touch with somebody that can make a difference, then I'll share your story. In the meantime, I'll continue to share mine. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything that you do. I appreciate you listening.